When I was made editor of the Dartmouth Free Press, one of the first persons to drop in to see me was Arnie Patterson on his way to CFDR. Arnie walked through the door and came over and he said, "I'm going to write a column for your paper." And of course, years ago, he had written for the old Dartmouth Patriot and for the Herald or Chronicle, one of those. Anyway, Arnie sat down at the typewriter in those days and he started typing. And 20 minutes later, he passed me this column. And he said to me, "Young man, names sell newspapers." And in that column was 120 names that he had banged out in 20 minutes. Mr. Dartmouth, probably 99% of them were from Dartmouth. But it was all about people and recognizing them in a different way. And you know, it struck me at that time, the ordinary citizen, the ordinary person gets their name in the paper twice, once when they're born, once when they die. Neither time can they appreciate it. So in between, if they get mentioned somewhere, somehow, I think Arnie knew that. And he honored an awful lot of people by just giving them those little one-liners. So building, yeah, that's where he belongs.
Arnie was a founding member of the Maritime Canoe Association, played a role in bringing top-notch paddling coaches to Dartmouth's Micmac and Bannock canoe clubs, and for many years was race announcer at the Dartmouth Natal Day Regattas. A golfer with a 7 handicap at the best of times and 6 career holes in one, Arnie was president of the Maritime Seniors Golf Association, founded and presided over the Maritime Pre-Seniors Association, was a director of the Nova Scotia Golf Association and Oakfield Golf and Country Club, and a member of Ashburn, Brightwood, and Liverpool clubs. He has been named an honorary member of the Atlantic Professional Golf Association for his long-time contribution to the sport. He even created the Dartmouth Open that attracted professionals from the Maritimes and the U.S. to the Brightwood Club. During his winter residency in Florida, he was president of the Isla del Sol Yacht and Country Club in St. Petersburg and co-chaired a Can-Am tournament that was a club highlight for years. Harness racing captured his interest too. He was race announcer and judge of ice races on the Dartmouth Lakes. He was race announcer at Truro Raceway during his college years, then became a director of and race announcer for Sackville Downs, owned by his brother-in-law, Jack Cruikshank. His promotional talent shone through as he instituted major races at the track that drew top horses from outside the region. Arnie was the organizing chairman and first president of the 1969 Summer Games held in Halifax and Dartmouth, helping generate $7 million in funding for sport facilities in the area that are still heavily used 40 years later: canoeing and rowing courses in Dartmouth, outdoor bowling greens in Halifax, a softball field and tennis courts on the Halifax Commons, and major improvements to St. Mary's University Stadium. While general manager of Moosehead Breweries in the late 1960s, he ensured sponsorship for more than 60 sport teams in the province, from the major sports to ox pulling and darts and tug of war. Marathon running, boxing, broadcasting, announcing baseball, promoting events from Cape Breton to Bridgewater were all part of Arnie's involvement. In the 1970s, he was on the planning committee of the Halifax Metro Centre, now the hub of sporting and entertainment events in the province. His love of Dartmouth and its athletes led him to raise funds to send Butch O'Hearn to Florida, where he won a spot on the PGA Tour. He helped send Chris Hook to the Olympics, billiard player Ken Shea to national events, and Spud Baisley's team to the World 10-Pin Bowling Championships in the 1960s. In 1975, he co-chaired a Save the Bluenose Fund, generating $1 million to help with repair costs to Bluenose 2.
The great champion of Nova Scotia, the great champion of Dartmouth, no matter where Arnie lived across the country, and he had very important executive positions with major Canadian companies as a public relations director, no matter where he went, he was always from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia.
Man about town, knowing everyone by name, Arnie Patterson has made a major contribution both by promoting through his many media and work affiliations and through an unrivaled love for his town, then city, and province. He has been called Mr. Dartmouth many, many times, and tonight he is Mr. Builder as we induct him into the Nova Scotia Sport Hall of Fame. To present the certificate tonight, a past board member of the Nova Scotia Sport Hall of Fame and now Vice President of Sales and Customer Service for the Atlantic Lottery Corporation, Mr. Joel Irvin. To present the Hall of Fame pin to Arnie is a member of this Hall of Fame 3 times as an athlete and with 2 teams, but he is also reasonably well known to Arnie. 54 years ago, he welcomed Arnie to the altar as the best man at his wedding, and tonight he welcomes Arnie to the Nova Scotia Sport Hall, Mr. Duggar McNeil. we do a quick talk here? We want to let Mr. McNeil know we rented these suits tonight at Tip Top, and they look great.
I just have the feeling that I just heard my obit.
Well, it's not like that at all. I want to ask you about your relationship. I know Pat would have loved to be here tonight, but he's at age 80, he's still one of the best public address announcers in the country over at the Mooseheads game tonight. Just a word or two on your relationship through the years with that great guy.
Well, we go back to the old Maritime Senior Hockey League with Duggar in '52, and we've been partners for 55 years. We have lunch once a week, and we tell one another the same stories that we've told one another for 55 years. I have a touch of modesty, but he's getting better.
Can you encapsulate what it is about sport that has captured you for a lifetime?
Well, you know, I always said that if you are on a hockey bus or a football bus and you're a jerk, you're going to get an awful nickname. So you become a better fellow. There's nothing like sport. I think that it is a great gift. Of course, we in Canada are hockey players. And one of my great delights, I'm the third Charles Patterson to be named in the Sports Hall of Fame. My father and my great-uncle Charlie, who they were skaters.
From one Dartmouth guy to another, you're still awfully proud of that city, aren't you?
Well, it's a great city, and I spoke at the 85th anniversary of the Micmac Amateur Aquatic Club last Sunday, and the canoe clubs have done so much on their own budget without any recreation budgets for the city. And Dartmouth, of course, is one of the great paddling citadels in Canada today.
You're still the best guest dry and best guest dry. Listen, how about that one? I wouldn't be on CFPR with that. Best dressed guy in town, Arnie Patterson, ladies and gentlemen, a member of the Sport Hall of Fame.